Look, when you're as nerdy and superhero-esque as Peter Parker, having love interests is not very common. But you know what? We're talking Spider-Man love interests. Most of them are probably dead by now, but it's okay, because they're just comic characters. Let's go. In at 10, Mary Jane Watson. After several attempts by Aunt May to bring Peter and MJ together, Mary Jane finally visited Peter's home. However, Spider-Man was away fighting the Spider Slayer robots at the moment. In her visit, she encountered both Betty Brant and Liz Allen, both also competing for Peter's affections. They were captivated by Mary Jane's beauty. Like her mother and sister, Mary Jane had a passion for the performing arts as well. She aspired for a career on Broadway or in film, and she excelled in high school productions. Eventually, Peter and Mary Jane got married on the front steps of New York City Hall, with her uncle, not his because his is dead, Judge Spencer Watson residing over the ceremony. Later, Peter faced a challenging quest to save Aunt May's life after she was shot, which was a shot that was intended for him, but seeking the help of Doctor Strange, they realized that not even magic could cure her, because, you know, she was basically already in the grave. Peter appealed to Tony Stark for help, and he was sent to like $2 million to cover hospital fees, but that wasn't gonna be enough. So Peter sold his marriage to MJ to Mephisto to save his aunt, who has been elderly since the 60s and beyond even the point of magic saving her. Dude, let it go. In at 9, Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker were classmates at Empire State University. Initially distant due to Peter's preoccupation, you know, with being Spider-Man, as time passed, they developed a romantic connection. Gwen was a science major who admired Peter's intellect and unique personality, unique air quotes, but she became Peter's first true love. Tragically though, Gwen was ambushed by the Green Goblin, who sought to lure Spider-Man into a trap. He kidnapped her and took her to the Brooklyn Bridge. In a fierce battle, Spider-Man tried to save her, but he was weakened due to an illness. He was sick at the time because, you know, Green Goblin has the perfect timing. And then when Green Goblin pushed Gwen off the bridge, Spider-Man managed to catch her with a web, but the sudden stop broke her neck. Probably the most realistic moment in Spider-Man comic books of being caught by a web. Despite being alive during the battle, yeah, she was hanging there, her neck was broken, she ended up passing away due to suffocation, leading her to feel betrayed because, you know, she had only now found out Spider-Man's identity, even though she had been dating Peter. So yeah, that's kind of messed up. Gwen Stacy's death became one of the most heart-wrenching and pivotal moments in Spider-Man's life though, leaving a lasting impact on both the hero and the readers and just, you know, every other Spider-Man media ever. Sorry Andrew, I guess you literally couldn't save her. It was written in the stars. It was a canon event. In at 8, Anna Marconi. Speaking of a version of Spider-Man that's not the mainstream one, you know, Andrew Garfield, let's discuss the Superior Spider-Man and his fascination with Anna Marconi. Superior Spider-Man is actually Otto Octavius, who prior to the Superior Spider-Man storyline had brain swapped with Peter. Yet a piece of Peter was still there in his own body. I mean, I'd hope so, because, you know, it's a freaking brain swap. That's kind of weird to begin with. Who eventually ended up convincing Otto to be a hero, although he was a darker one. Doc Ock was up to some really shady stuff while pretending to be Peter as well. Since Peter was young, handsome, and in shape, he had actual women in his life. So Otto tried his luck at getting Mary Jane to sleep with him, but failed miserably, thank the Lord. So when things weren't going well, he went to Anna Marconi, whom Otto Peter started dating. She had no idea what the real situation was, because I mean, if he had said anything, she probably would have had him committed. And while it's unclear if they ever like hopped on the good foot and did the bad thing, to quote Austin Powers, it's obvious that things were at least going in that direction. Okay, Otto was in love with her, which was a surprise since he decided to give Peter back his body to save her. But still, it's still a horrific story and like immoral in the highest order. But hey, it's a Spider-Man love interest, so there you go. It belongs on this list. Jesus Christ. And at 7, Carlie Cooper. Man, Peter Parker, Carlie Cooper, what is with the alliteration in Marvel Comics? Carlie and Peter dated for a brief time, with Carlie breaking up with him after finding out that he was Spider-Man. In spite of their past relationship though, Carlie helped Peter track down the Vultures, and their leader, the original Vulture, well, the new Vultures. It was like a gang of them, and their leader, who was Adrian Toomes. Afterwards, Carlie dated Detective Walker Bolt up until his death, and when Dr. Octopus switched minds with Spider-Man, Carlie was the only person to be told by Doc Ock that he was actually Peter Parker moments before his death. So the Doc Ock body was actually Peter, right? So Carlie was the only one who knew that. Or maybe it was that Doc Ock told her that he was in Peter's body before Doc Ock died. I'm not exactly sure, I'm a bit hazy on the details. Anyways, Carlie began to investigate if what she was told was true, and it was. With assistance from Yuri Watanabe, she was able to confirm that Otto was in possession of Peter's body and that Peter had died. She visited his grave, but was surprised when it caved in, revealing that the body had been secretly exhumed. Carlie was then ambushed and taken to the Goblin Underground, where she was interrogated about Spider-Man's true identity, but hey, they still dated, it still counts, it's going on the list. Alright, I'm going weird with this. I'm not gonna go everyone that everyone already knows. I'm gonna make you think. And at 6, Silver Sable. After her mother was killed in a bombing, Silver implored her father to teach her how to avenge her mother's death. Despite his initial reluctance, Silver's father eventually saw her potential and started training her. When he passed away, Silver took over the Wild Pack and founded Silver Sable International. She first met Spider-Man while pursuing the Black Fox, and although she nearly caught him with the help of the New York City police, Spider-Man's actions inadvertently interfered. Silver Sable possesses an indomitable will and is able to resist a worldwide psychic manipulation from the goddess. She is also very skilled in hand-to-hand combat, martial arts, marksmanship, sword fighting, and gymnastics. Attaboy Peter. And she's also an expert strategist and leader, capable of quickly assessing the strengths and weaknesses of opponents. Silver Sable has even managed to hold her own against the Punisher, but yeah, her and Spider-Man dated. Halfway through at number 5, Betty Brant. Now, Betty got married in Amazing Spider-Man number 156 and then headed off to Paris for a honeymoon that doubled as a work assignment for her new husband, reporter Ned Leeds. However, in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 183, we see Peter propose to Mary Jane and her turn him down, which puts him in a pretty dark place. Wonder why? Which means that when Betty shows up in Peter's apartment in Amazing Spider-Man number 184, there are going to be some issues. However, Betty claims that she has left Ned on their honeymoon while also on assignment together. But here's the biggest kicker. She never told Ned that she was leaving him. Yeah. And then she still intends on sparking a romantic relationship with Peter. He ends up shutting her down in number 186, telling her that he can't be with her, but she doesn't take no for an answer, and in issue 187, she makes her own move and just goes for the kiss, saying, "Shut up darling, just kiss me." The next panel then cuts to a few hours later, which sparks the debate whether he and Betty ended up bumping more than just their lips, and then Ned ends up threatening to kill Peter if he doesn't stay out of Betty's life. But hey, it's still a thing, and I mean it's a messed up thing, but it still happened. Yikes. Speaking of messed up, in at 4, Sarah Stacey. Look, after learning that your father isn't actually your father, but rather your mother's ex, who she cheated on with his worst enemy, what do you think that you would do? Also, you're aging more rapidly because your real father has some form of goblin serum in his system that somehow passed on to you, but you only age up physically, meaning that you're mentally 10 with the body of an adult. Yeah, you might want to skip this number, since Pete and Sarah get closer after fighting off dealers in Paris, because she also has superpowers, because of course she does. This is made even worse, because they're in Paris without MJ, who Peter didn't bring for whatever reason, but the thing is, Peter thinks that it's entirely platonic. Yeah, this just goes to show that if your partner thinks someone is trying to get with you, you should probably listen, because lo and behold, Sarah ends up planting one on her almost dad, just as MJ shows up for a surprise visit. Yeah, I think the name of this storyline, which is since remembered, is way too fitting and definitely going to be seared into my brain now. God damn it. Getting close to the end in number 3, Cindy Moon. 13 years after her imprisonment, Cindy's story came to light when the orb revealed the Watcher's secrets to the world. Spider-Man, now aware of her existence, sought to free her. Cindy warned him about the danger of Moreland, but he opened the door anyway. Feeling doomed by this decision, she ended up attacking attacking him but learned that Moreland was already dead. Grateful for her freedom, Cindy donned an improvised costume made of webs and adopted the name of Silk. She sought to reconnect with her parents, and Spider-Man promised to help her search for him. As they spent time together, a deep bond formed between Spider-Man and Silk, and they began an intimate relationship. And I mean, that kind of makes sense given that, you know, you're both spider powered, so yeah. And this surprised Anna, Peter's roommate, who felt threatened by Cindy's presence, although I don't really understand that because he's just your roommate. After an initial confrontation, Cindy apologized and tried to mend their relationship, but it didn't work, obviously, as you all know. But hey, that's like number 2 in like my personal, like, dude should have been with them instead of MJ, that Cindy's number 2. But ultimately, in number 2, Kitty Pryde. In Operation Zero Tolerance's Shadowcat subfile 604842, it was revealed that Catherine Pryde was abducted as a baby by a Neo and replaced with another baby who grew up as Kitty Pryde, also known as Shadowcat of the X-Men. Despite encountering many similar holograms, the X-Men dismissed them as attempts to disturb them, but Charles Xavier eventually located Kitty and sought to recruit her for his school as a new X-Men member. Blah blah blah, things go on, she ends up meeting Spider-Man, they start dating. Yes, this is actually a thing. Spider-Man dated Kitty Pryde, and that's pretty dope actually. I don't know why I like this so much. Like, I put it at number 2 because I just like the fact that they dated. But hey, that's not the only person that Kitty's dated either. She crossed paths with the Guardians of the Galaxy when they rescued a young Jean Grey, and then she ended up dating and getting engaged to Star-Lord. But hey, she dated Peter before that, so you know what? That's the OTP, as the kids used to say. And finally, in number 1, Felicia Hardy. Look, I have a whole spiel about who Felicia Hardy is, but we all know the Black Cat, and I'm going to say it. Peter should have been with Felicia. Okay, I get that she's like a pseudo criminal, but like, dude, look at the Spider-Man PS4 game. MJ is so incredibly toxic in that game, but then Felicia shows up and you're just like, why am I not here? Spider-Man Web of Shadows, you choose Felicia every damn time. Okay, I don't care if it means I'm evil, I don't care, like, I don't care about the black suit, I just want Felicia. I cosplay Spider-Man so that I can find someone at a convention who is cosplaying Felicia Hardy, and then I can just start a life with them, okay? Like, come on. I don't need to say anything else. I don't need to talk about all of this because it's Felicia. He should have done it. He should have hit it. And you know what? When you're going through that DLC and you're like, oh crap, does Peter have a kid with Felicia? You know what? I was disappointed that he didn't. And you know what? I'm sure he was too. Thanks for watching.